It's a Supernatural News Wednesday, and you know what that means. 50% less of this. Or this. Or even this. Are you tired of it yet? That's right, it's Supernatural News Wednesday, and that means only one thing. We need a co-host. We bring in the co-host with the most, the BCB, the Big Cuddly Bear, Beer City Bruiser. How you doing, Bruiser?
I'm doing great. Rim shots all around, huh?
Well, just for right now. I mean, I read the reviews. I get it. Yeah. That's just
I like our rim shots. We have good sense of humor. I don't care what anybody says.
That's just my way of needling. I love needling because I'm an asshole. Big show today, Bruiser. Big show. We're going to talk aliens at the first part of the show, like we always do. Got some interesting stories today.
Really?
Are we the aliens, Bruiser? Or are they actually visiting us? That's one of the questions we'll have today. Also in the news today, we do have a couple of AI stories. Nothing too huge, but the stories we have are very interesting.
Okay.
Yes. We're also going to talk about miracle cures. We got a couple of them. One of them is, of course, licking strange animals. You got to like that. And then
I love licking strange animals.
And then the second one is one that could kill you.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah, a natural cure.
So wait, the cure is death?
Yes, the cure is death, believe it or not. We'll talk about that natural cure that could kill you. And at the end of the program, Bruiser, at the very end of the program, we're going to talk food.
Ooh, of course we are.
Of course
we're us.
But I have a special recipe for you, my friend, because you do have a certain surgery coming up here.
I do.
I have a culinary delight to help you heal.
Oh, good. But I hope it's better than my father's. My father just tells me to eat raw potatoes.
That's it?
He says if you eat raw potatoes, it heals you.
Really?
Ever since I was a child. So every surgery I've had, I've ate raw. I don't know why, but I've ate raw potatoes.
And that did it?
I have no idea. It wasn't just that. I'm sure it was, the PT and the doctors and all that. But he swears by it. He swears that raw potatoes help you.
Well, I'm sure, but yeah, I think it's a little more than raw potatoes. Actually, on that point, I think I can announce this to people. I haven't gotten the A-OK yet from my doctor, but I told you off air that I got the results back from my second heart monitor that they had me wear post-surgery, and everything looks pretty good.
Look at you.
Yeah. The doctor told me if I was less than 5% on the PVCs, that he would consider me clear and I wouldn't have to have another surgery. And everything was pretty much zeros except for one category that was at 2.3%.
Which is still less than 5, so you're good.
That's right. Well, as far as I know,
eat a raw potato. That'll go down to zero.
That's right. I'll get raw potatoes in my diet, and I'll be down to nothing. But for that, I gotta say it was super greens. I did add some super greens to the old diet, and I've been.
That's right. You told me you did that.
That's right, and I've been going every day with the super greens ever since before I went in for surgery, and I've been doing it religiously.
Now, do you do a mix or do you do a pill?
A mix. No pills. A mix every day.
How does that taste?
Horrible. I'm not going to lie. It's horrible. It's all horrible.
I have a lot of people that take the greens and they say it's the taste you have to just get used to.
Yeah, it definitely is the taste you have to get used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not what you'd call good. No. I don't even know that I should hype the brand I use because it's a certain brand. Let's just say they call it Vitality Greens. I'll give you that.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
But on their commercials, they're like, "Oh, it tastes so good," and the chocolate's even better. But I don't know what's better, the tart cherry or the chocolate. I'll give you that hint. So there's flavors. I'll tell you this much: the chocolate's better than the tart cherry.
When I think of greens, I don't think of cherry and chocolate, though. I think of like a salad or broccoli.
Right. And they both taste like shit. They really do. They smell like swamp water and they taste like shit.
There you go.
But your boy Timmy has a little trick that makes it taste better. And my dad actually gave me the hint because he does the actual super greens. And he says, oh, no, I mix apple juice with it. And
that helps, huh?
Yeah, it tastes wonderful, he says. Mix actual apple juice with it. I learned if I mixed in a little bit of white cherry Gatorade, it actually tastes edible. It's edible.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, when I was taking apple cider vinegar to cut weight, I'd mix that with apple juice.
Oh, okay.
Take away kind of the sting.
Yeah. So what I do is because it's an 8-ounce shake, I do 4 ounces or a little bit more of water, and I do 4 ounces of Gatorade.
Okay.
Yeah. I nail that down. So
you're getting your electrolytes and your super greens.
Exactly. And then I'm good to go.
And it's working.
It is working.
You have test results to prove it. I
have test results to prove it. I healed up the old heart. So there you go. That's your health corner here on Supernatural News. So yeah, that's I'm good to go as far as that goes. As far as I know, now the doctor will come back and say, nope, got to do it again, and then I'll just go, I'm screwed.
But 2 is less than 5.
That's right, 2 is less than 5. But everything looked good on the old heart monitor, so that's good news. That's good.
That's good. I got my pre-surgical blood work back, and everything looks fine.
There you go. So
I'm right where I need to be.
There you go. So you got ye old hip surgery coming up in what month now? Is it June?
June 29th. Yeah, we're counting down the days. Less than a month.
Jeez, June 29th.
Yeah, it's gonna be unusual not limping everywhere
and I know you're looking forward to it.
I am.
And I am. And I remember the hip pain, and I remember how bad it was. But when I had my slipped epiphysis, I know it was torturous. But I can't imagine wrestling on it. I just can't.
I watched one of my matches the other day, and I was like, oh, you can tell I'm hurting.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, no, I'm counting down the days, and I'm looking forward to post surgery and being able to do quote unquote normal things like the vacations Mrs. Bruiser's got planned. My daughter, my youngest, turns 21, and she wants to do a New Orleans trip. I think I told you off air she wants to do a New Orleans trip, but she doesn't want to do like the drinking New Orleans. She wants to do all the paranormal.
Oh yeah.
New Orleans. So we got a whole list of stuff, and in fact, I'll have to talk to you off air, see if you know anybody that can help us out there.
Oh yeah, we'll We'll have little hookups there we can get for you. Sure.
You can tell she's my daughter though, because right away I'm like, oh, you want to do Bourbon Street? She's like, no. She's like, I want to do this and this and this and the vampire tour and the graveyard tour and the Madame Laveau tour and all that. I'm like, oh, okay.
you just have to be careful because some of those areas are not good areas. I mean, I'm talking to the guy who can defend his daughter in those areas, obviously, but yeah, like a night at Lafitte's is always fun, and I mean, I know you know that, but yeah, there's some of those areas are not good areas. You just have to be.
If there's any local New Orleans ghost hunting teams out there, I'll be out there. I'll do an investigation too.
Yeah. Yep. And yes, if there's local New Orleans or Louisiana ghost organizations that are out there, that when Bruiser's out there, please get a hold of us. And where can they contact you?
Facebook, I'm the Beer City Bruiser. On Twitter at BCB Winchester, or Instagram Beer City Bruiser.
And you're going to be out there around what time?
September.
There you go. All right. So
first week of September.
Get a hold of Bruiser and let them know. And by all means, they'd love to if you could give them the righteous tour, not the touristy tour.
Exactly. That's what my daughter was saying. She's like, can you talk to Tim, because I know we're gonna do tourist stuff, but Tim's probably got inside stuff. I'm like, yes, I'll mention it to Tim. Yeah. I'm like, we got time.
We want the local. We want the local experience, not the tourist experience. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Let's get moving on today's news. Boy, have we got news today, Bruiser. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's just start out hot. You want to start out hot today?
Let's start hot.
U.S. government using UFO materials from the 1940s to secretly make scientific advances. That's our first story.
Really?
How's that for hot? This is an exclusive, supposedly, to the Daily Star overseas. How come we don't get these? We don't get these exclusives in the USA Today.
I was going to say, how come the Post isn't getting this exclusive?
Yeah, right? New York Post or anything like that. UAP researcher Chris Leto, who flew fighter planes for the U.S. Air Force for more than 20 years, believes that extraterrestrial visits have been concealed in a massive cover-up. I believe the phrase, "no shit, Sherlock," comes up on this deal.
Wait, they're covering up UFOs? Come on.
No. Say it ain't so, Joe. UFOs may be a reality being kept secret by the U.S. government to give it a technological advantage, a former U.S. Air Force fighter pilot has claimed. Speaking to the Daily Star, Chris Leto says he has been pushing for investigation of UFOs and UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena, since 2017. Specifically, he says, since a pivotal New York Times story was published that strongly implied extraterrestrials are real, and the U.S. government has been tracking them for decades, and the subject of UFOs, once seen as the province of obsessive conspiracy theorists, gained even more respectability after February's... No, see, I don't know that this tracks for me, but after February's spy balloon crisis saw U.S. defense chiefs increase the sensitivity of their radar networks and discover dozens... No, I know, that's such bullshit. And discover dozens more unexplained objects in the skies above America. I think what they found was Mylar balloons from people's parties and then shot them down promptly.
Exactly. We covered that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what, 4 of them?
Yeah, exactly. There were 4 that were shot down. I wouldn't get all hyped up there, Daily Star.
Including the Valentine's balloons we sent to each other. They shot those down. Yeah,
they did. Yeah, all my love Bruiser went down in flames. It was horrible. Chris says at present, the only reason the Pentagon is taking an active interest in the UAP issue is because of the possibility that these objects are not spacecraft piloted by alien explorers, but highly advanced drones operated by a hostile foreign power. So are they humans or are they aliens?
Yeah.
He says, quote, "I was in the Air Force for 24 years, and from that perspective, anything you don't understand or can't identify is a threat. If you're swimming with a great white shark, it's very different to swimming with a dolphin. The knowledge of what that thing is makes all the difference in those two situations." Well, that's kind of obvious, sure. But Chris said the question of what the strange objects we are seeing in the sky really are dates back to another wave of UFO sightings and another story about a balloon. The official explanation for the famed Roswell incident in 1947 is that a top-secret U.S. spy balloon, part of Project Mogul, came down in New Mexico. Lieutenant Colonel Jesse Marcel was the senior officer sent to investigate the report of a UFO crash. He was pictured with wreckage from the crash that he said acted like no known material. Later official reports said the debris was simply the remains of a downed balloon. Marcel told UFO researcher Stanton Friedman, actually this material may have looked like tinfoil and balsa wood, but the resemblance ended there. They took one picture of me on the floor holding up some of the less interesting metallic debris. The stuff in that one photo was pieces of the actual stuff we found. It was not a staged photo, he went on to say. Chris said Marcel has been on the record clearly saying that it wasn't a balloon. The material was different, and he was told to change it by a superior officer. If that's true, they took the material to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base into some secret bunker underground, and they were trying to re-engineer it, he went on to say. Chris, who himself holds a bachelor's of science in chemistry materials science from the Air Force Academy, added, what's interesting in that case is that Marcel mentions that the meta, and he says the material, you could just fold it up and it could go back into its original shape. It's what we now call a memory metal. And interestingly, right down the street from that, Wright-Patterson Base, shortly after that, within the year, a patent was filed for, I believe this is nitronol, which is a metal with nickel added that creates bendable memory metal, not metary, but memory metal, which you would now have in your glasses, for example. I don't know.
What?
Bendable. Well, the bendable frames.
Yeah.
But they're not that bendable.
No, the thing that kind of adds to the story was the breaking news you had. I think it was last week, where the gentleman that you had said that Bob Lazar brought out that it looked like Mylar.
Yes. Yep.
At Hubbard, like what he sounds like he's describing is that type of material.
Yes. Yeah. Essentially, that's what he's describing. But now he's going off on a tangent about something that's not quite.
Yeah, like he should have just left it as this is what it was, because.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, don't be saying, "Oh yeah, your glasses are made of it." No, they're not.
Your glasses aren't made of that. Your glasses are simply made of aluminum that bends. Chris added, that's one of the smoking guns for the conspiracy theory that an alien spacecraft did crash at Roswell. He said it's no surprise that such a discovery would be covered up. He said, think about it. You're the only government on Earth that has 100% confirmation that there is extraterrestrial life or has alien material that's worth a lot. For example, imagine you could create a flying saucer that can go into space easily, can keep up with intercontinental ballistic missiles, and can easily shoot them down. Now you have a secret failsafe that can stop a mutually assured destruction nuclear scenario. You would never share that, because as soon as you share that, every country or every other country knows they'll be looking for their own alien material on archaeological sites. Because if that's true, if you do have crashes, there would be archaeological finds that would be worth investigating. Chris compared the incident to the notorious Vargina UFO incident, when a reported alien landing resulted in the deaths of several animals in a nearby zoo, and claims a local woman was impregnated by an extraterrestrial. But any available evidence was quickly scooped up by the authorities. It was taken by U.S. Air Force personnel, Chris explained. If you know alien visitors are an actual reality and you can keep it secret, that's an advantage, is what he went on to say. You could develop advanced lasers, GPS tracking, a new crystal for the engines of your F-22, and so on. Again, it's all speculation, he went on to say, but if it's true, people need to realize that it should be released for the good of humanity, is how he went on to finish his story.
That's a bold statement, saying that we're the only country that really knows of that because of the Roswell thing. There's been other crashes all over the world. We can't be the only government.
And again, I'll back your point and say that we aren't the only country. I mean, you look at
England's got a huge UFO understanding,
and you look at some of the things that have happened in Russia. You see, and you look at actual video from China.
Yeah,
there have been sightings at different airports in China. So we're not the only country to have had this happen.
No,
now,
and that's why I said it's a bold statement to say that.
Right. Now, are we the only country to have recovered wreckage? Well, maybe. But to say that they've never had a sighting in another country is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe there's recovered tech in other countries and they just don't know what to do with it. But to say that is like saying, hey, I found a box of Fruity Pebbles spilled on the grocery store floor. I don't know whether I should eat it or not. I think the answer is obvious. Well, if you like cooties, give it a shot.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think other countries, if there was a downed ship, probably have got that wreckage and probably figured out how to reverse engineer it by now. So
yeah, they're doing the same thing we're doing.
Exactly. So there you go. An ex-Air Force captain says a UFO attack left guards screaming and the government lied about it.
Oh, the government lied? They don't lie.
No. Come on now. Don't be ridiculous. Government lied about it.
They have a committee. They don't lie.
They're asking us. They're asking our opinion about videos. How are they lying, Bruiser? Come on.
They've been honest for 60, 70 years now. 80 years almost.
They would never do that. By the way, this deserves one of those. In case you can't get the sarcasm that's dripping out of our voice.
Yeah, we're kind of laying it on thick.
Yeah, a little bit. Ex-U.S. Air Force Captain Robert Salas revealed when he headed a base in Montana in 1967, a guard claimed strange lights were heading towards them and were pulsating. That was called Disco balls. I believe. Disco balls. Yes. Disco balls for 500, Alex. A former U.S. Air Force captain has broken his silence on a UFO attack and blasted a government lie, that's in quotes, over a craft that left guards screaming. Do you get the feeling guards weren't as brave back then as they are now?
No. I don't think they were.
Okay. Robert Salas headed a Maelstrom base in Montana in 1967 when a guard came towards him and claimed strange lights were heading in their direction. In an episode, UFOs Investigating the Unknown on National Geographic, Mr. Salas revealed 10 nuclear missiles were hidden in a subterranean bunker when the reddish-orange lights were pulsating. He said the hovering motionless and without sound, and they were solid. There was a solid object, rather, within the light that was oval-shaped. Mr. Salas didn't believe the guard and joked, "What, like UFOs?" But the guard replied, "Well, they're not airplanes, sir."
Why the need to say they were guarding nuclear missiles? Like, why is that? That's just over-explaining, I think. Just they're guards on a base, and this happened.
Well, I think to clarify that, they had a pretty big payload there, and there's probably a reason why a UFO would show up.
Well, I just assume UFOs are always attracted to anything with radiation because that's how they're fueling their ships.
Yeah, but see, you're more educated than most. Like if
that's true, you're right.
The first question the average layman would say is, "Well, why is a UFO showing up at your base?"
Why not? They're friendly.
I mean, they're not there for the food. I know that. They're not there maybe they're there for raw potatoes. Maybe they need to heal from something. Maybe they've been in a crash. I don't know.
Maybe this guy just pissed them off and they wanted to come set them straight.
Ooh, revengeful UFOs. This sounds like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
It is.
I like it.
It's better than a nuclear heist.
Yeah, that's true. The guard was stunned after witnessing the alleged UFO attack, with the official left screaming amid concerns over a potential security risk. He said about 5 minutes later, he calls back and he was screaming and very frightened. He was babbling, saying that he had the guards out there with weapons, not with no weapons, but with weapons. You don't want them out there with no weapons.
How is this an attack? What, they're just flying at them as an attack?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Well, but let's put it in perspective, Bruiser. It's the 60s, and obviously we're not whacked out on anything like acid or anything, and here come these flying lights at you. I mean, that's an attack, isn't it?
That, or it could be a passing car.
In the sky?
Could be an airplane, helicopter, hang glider,
but
weather balloon.
They already said it wasn't an airplane.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I'm not seeing an attack here. I'm just seeing aliens coming to refuel.
But see, you know about that. These guys don't know that. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah. Okay. The captain immediately demanded nothing entered the fence area as he assumed the U.S. Air Force was under attack. The U.S. nuclear missiles malfunctioned, which to this day officials have been unable to explain, as a former captain believes the reddish-orange object that headed towards them was a UFO attack. He revealed the terrifying incident caused the missiles to deactivate, which led to an investigation by the U.S. Air Force. But following a 3-year investigation, the U.S. Air Force stopped its investigation and reported no sighting had ever posed a threat to security.
Oh, so how do they explain the missiles not working?
Malfunction.
And why are they active missiles? Come on now.
It was just a bad missile day. EMP.
That's what it was, yeah.
Candy Ground.
It was Bob in logistics. He hit the off switch.
That's right. However,
he spilled his coffee on him.
He spilled coffee on him, exactly. However, Mr. Salas hit back at a report that claims that was certainly a lie, as the incident left his guard screaming. Screaming, you say? But despite the claims, National Geographic said, although the strange objects didn't pose any threat to U.S. national security, the malfunction of the U.S. nuclear missiles left officials baffled. It said there is no evidence that mysterious objects represent any threat to U.S. national security, but harrowing incidents of UFO sightings continue in the unexplained malfunction of U.S. nuclear missiles after an incursion leaves the U.S. defenseless. That's the direct quote. It's not the first time a UFO has been spotted after former U.S. Navy pilot Lieutenant Ryan Graves said he saw the objects pretty much daily while he was on duty. He admitted he came across flashing lights, strange crafts, and other things he couldn't explain. We read that story just, I believe it was last week or the week before. Mr. Graves told CNN, it was almost as if the sun was shining a flashlight on the UAPs. We were trying to figure out what the heck these things were. We were seeing them pretty much daily. We would go out there and they would be out there in the morning. They would be out there in the evening as well. These things were pretty much always out there. They would range from 2 to 3 of them to 6 or 7 of them. So they were out all the time.
Yeah. They were constantly checking up on us.
Just having a good flyby. That's what they were doing. More UFO news here, Bruiser. A passenger plane chased by a UFO for 50 minutes in a chilling close encounter, according to a TV documentary that's out there. The mystery object, which made maneuvers that defied gravity, shadowed the Japan Airlines for almost an hour, but officials silenced any attempt at investigating the incident. A jumbo jet was chased by a UFO for 50 minutes in a chilling close encounter covered up by the U.S. government, according to a TV show. A Japan Airlines Boeing 747 was pursued by a mystery disc-shaped craft several times its size for 350 miles as it came into land in Anchorage, Alaska, en route from Paris, France. Captain Kenju Terauchi, a former fighter pilot with 10,000 hours of flight experience, performed a dramatic 360-degree turn in a bid to shake off the UFO. But the object, which had dazzling lights, continued to track him until its final approach to the runway, accelerating, hovering, and making maneuvers that defied gravity. The pilot reported it as a UFO sighting, was promptly grounded and assigned to a desk job by his bosses.
What?
Yeah.
They really want to cover this up.
Either that or they thought maybe he was a bit out of his mind.
10,000 hours, man. That he knows what he's looking at in the sky.
Yeah. John Callahan, who was then head of the Federal Aviation Authority's Accident and Investigations Branch, launched a probe and found the mystery craft had been caught on radar.
Something there.
Yeah, something there. But he told National Geographic documentary UFOs Investigating the Unknown that he summoned to a meeting with CIA and the White House officials in Washington and ordered never to talk about the 1986 encounter. He said he showed them radar footage, eyewitness accounts of Captain Terauchi and his 2 co-pilots, and recordings of their bemused conversations with air traffic controllers and the government officials, and that they were all excited about it. But he went on, so I'm sitting there next to this little guy. He says, okay, we were never here. We are confiscating all this data, and you are sworn to secrecy.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah. So I said, what do you think it is? And he said, well, it's a UFO. Well, thanks for the answer. Mark Rodiger, who is the scientific director of the Center for UFO Studies, told the TV show, so what's going on here? Well, of course, we don't know because it disappeared into the black mass of the government, he went on to say. Former NASA chief Dr. Richard Haynes, who runs the National Aviation Reporting Center on Anomalous Phenomena, said the sighting was among many which showed the danger UFOs pose to aircraft and should have been properly investigated. Would it constitute a threat to flight safety? The answer is clearly yes, he went on to say. 2 months later, an Alaska Airlines flight heading to Anchorage clocked a similar object flying at 18,000 miles an hour on its radar.
Oh, geez.
That's kind of fast.
That's really fast.
Yeah. Around the same time, the pilot of a U.S. Air Force KC-135 jet flying nearby reported a large disc-shaped object, and it came within just 40 feet before disappearing.
Oh, geez.
That's a near miss. The documentary told how in 2006, up to 150,000 people, including pilots and ground crew, reported seeing a metallic saucer-shaped craft over Chicago O'Hare International Airport. Actually, I remember that story. After hovering over gate C-17 for 5 minutes, it shot vertically upwards, leaving a hole in the clouds. Author and investigator Leslie Keene said the authorities at first dismissed it as airport lights reflecting off the clouds and then a weather phenomena caused by falling ice, which is kind of impossible. But she said it happened in broad daylight where no lights were switched on and the temperatures were 18 degrees Fahrenheit above freezing.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah, you can't have falling ice.
No, you can't.
Leslie said the aviation world, or rather had ignored countless UFO sightings despite the safety risks they posed. There are cases where the pilot would have to make a very fast turn or have to dive to avoid hitting a UFO, she said. Cases where passengers were actually injured by maneuvers that airplane had to make. If we have commercial pilots that are somehow in danger, I just think that's really important, she went on to say. How could the aviation world ignore this? The revelations come after Gaziantep Airport in Turkey was shut down by a UFO at the weekend. At least 26 flights were grounded over 12 hours after the mystery craft buzzed a passenger jet as it came into land. The unidentified flying object appeared on the aircraft's radar at 9,000 feet above the southern city. Air traffic controllers who reportedly spotted it separately had no idea what it was. They immediately ordered all scheduled flights to be diverted to airports in Adana and Sanliurfa. Turkish news.
That would upset me so much if I was flying because they're not telling you why your flight was canceled or moved.
Oh yeah,
it's not like they're going, oh, there was a UFO. That's why. No, they're coming up with some BS. Oh, and that just makes your day worse.
Yeah, minor repairs or things
mechanical.
Yeah. Turkish news outlets said 13 departures and 13 arrivals were canceled at that point. The airport remained shut down for 12 hours on Saturday before reopening when the collision risk was deemed to have passed. The U.S. Senate has ordered an investigation into 650 reported close encounters involving U.S. military personnel, including many Top Gun pilots spanning 7 decades.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of near misses, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That is for sure. We continue on. A car-sized UFO rotated through the sky, prompting speculation and conspiracy theories. The footage has been posted online of a UFO described as the size of a car floating a few hundred feet between, I believe it is Gomersall and Birstall in West Yorkshire, with enthusiasts debating its origins. Footage of a large rotating UFO has led to a range of theories as to what it might be by enthusiastic spotters. A member of the public filmed a floating object as it soared approximately a few hundred feet in the air between Gomersall and Birstall in West Yorkshire at around 11:30 a.m. on Thursday.
At least they're giving us a size, too. Like, normally when you hear these things, they don't say size.
No, well, I mean...
They'll say it's large.
Yeah, but then again, what size car? Are we talking compact, medium, or...
Was it an SUV? Was it a pickup? Like, what was it?
Was it a Cadillac? I mean, I'm partial to the Cadillac. I mean, if we're just talking between you, me, and the fence post. I'm just saying.
Well, as long as it's not a Mini Cooper.
No, a Mini Cooper UFO would not be that intimidating.
No, it wouldn't. Because there'd be, one alien in it?
Yeah, that's the type of alien that I could just kind of, kick. And I'm sure the aliens wouldn't be very appreciative of it either, They'd kind of just be like,
what is going on? Oh, no, stop kicking my vehicle.
A member of the public filmed a floating object as it soared approximately a few hundred feet in the air between Gomersall and Birstall in West Yorkshire at around 11:30 a.m. on Thursday. It was described as being large, about the size of a car, by the person who captured the footage. They didn't want to be named, but said, I thought it was a balloon like the Spider-Man one, but you can't get the scale on the images. Well, again, what size Spider-Man balloon? Are we talking like the Macy's Day float? Are we talking like, I don't know, like one you get at the grocery store for a kid's party? I mean, if it's the size of a car, probably not.
Yeah, but it's the size of the car.
But the size of a car, what?
It can't be the Macy's Day one because that's way bigger than a car.
That's true. That's true. Again, the quote is, it may be about the size of a car. As you can see, it rotates, so maybe it's a drone. Well, if it's a drone, it's not well, I suppose it's a UFO is an unidentified flying object. So an unidentified flying object it could be a drone.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Speaking to Yorkshire Live, they added it was a few hundred feet high and rising in a line. Well, it might be a drone that you saw. Sure.
Drones fly up and down, straight up and down.
They do. The amateur videographer uploaded the footage to a UFO sightings forum, to which Scott Waring absolutely wet himself at that time. I'm just saying. He's probably like, oh, it's a UFO, it's a UFO, it's a UFO.
Look at the UFO.
Oh, I can't stand it. Oh, I wet myself.
It's the size of a car and Spider-Man balloon. My dream come true.
Oh, if it were only Spider-Man in a car. I can't take it. I can't take it. Peter Parker, I love you.
We miss you, Uncle Ben.
We miss you, Uncle Ben. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Tell you what, I'm going to skip this final story, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, interesting story about a natural optical illusion that sees a ghost appear on top of a mountain.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so we've got that coming up. Of course, we got them AI stories. Did Isaac Newton believe that the world would end in 2060?
No.
Well, why would you automatically dismiss it? We're going to tell people about whether he did or not.
I was worried about gravity.
Also, creepy doll heads that washed up on a Texas beach are up for auction. Are you in or are you out?
I would love to. Like I said, I want to own creepy haunted stuff, but my wife won't let me.
Now's your chance, Bruiser. Don't tell her you're in, and you're probably going to throw some money at it. And we're going to talk about natural cures. One involves you licking an animal. The other may cause death. That's coming up here in the second half of the program. It is Supernatural News and a Supernatural News Wednesday right here on the best in paranormal programming. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in supernatural and paranormal news. This is Darkness Radio for a Wednesday. I'm Tim Dennis. Right over there is the BCB, the Big Cuddly Bear, Beer City Bruiser. Together we're known as a Cruiser and The Bruiser. And
touring now.
Touring now. We're out on tour.
Sponsored by Hot 95.
Coming to a city near you. Actually, we don't have a sponsor. Who will we be sponsored by? Red Bull?
No.
No, we're not that awake.
No.
No, probably sponsored by Chick-fil-A?
Probably Lazy Boy.
Lazy Boy. Sponsored by Lazy Boy. Lazy Boy and Banquet TV dinners. Yep, that's who we're sponsored by.
It's a perfect Friday night.
That's right.
Listen to Cruiser and The Bruiser while reclining on your Lazy Boy, eating your Banquet TV dinner.
Where the spaghetti's only $1.99.
We got the Salisbury steak. We got the rib patties.
Oh, yeah. Although, if Banquet wants to advertise, we love us some rib patties from Banquet.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
Actually, the Banquet chicken was always really good.
The rib patties aren't that bad either.
Really? You like the Banquet rib patties?
Yeah. I mean, I know it's not real pork.
Oh, don't say that. It's perk and a perk solution.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. I mean, you know. I digress. By the way, Banquet, if you'd like to sponsor us, we'll have a fried chicken eating contest right here on the podcast, and we'll broadcast video
of us just mowing down on some chicken.
Fried chicken and beer. We'll do the fried chicken and beer contest for you if you'd like to advertise.
I'm in. Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's move on with our news, shall we? By the way, we have Parashare. Do we want to do Parashare before we do a news, or should we do this?
We want some Parashare because it's from last week, wasn't it? We had to carry it over.
Yeah, we did. Actually, let's do this news story, then we'll do Parashare.
You got it.
This kind of ties in nicely. It has to do with ghostesses. Natural optical illusion sees a ghost appear on top of a mountain in some eerie footage that's out there. Some baffling video footage shows what appears to be a person waving in the clouds surrounded by a rainbow-like halo on top of a mountain in the Sichuan province of China. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Waving, huh?
Waving like this, but you can't see it because it's audio. I mean, Bruiser can see me. Look, I'm waving away at Bruiser. Hi, Bruiser.
I'll wave it back. Look.
Oh, look at this, Bruiser waving at me. A hiker had a bizarre encounter last week when a ghost seemed to appear on top of a mountain. The eerie figure appeared in the fog in the mountains of Sichuan province in China. Video shows a ghost wrapped in a halo of rays streaming through the cloud like a circular rainbow. It looks as though the figure is waving with his left hand to the hiker high above the peaks, or high above the peaks. But
hello there, hello.
It was Harry Carey. Hello, China. But after some time, the man realizes that his senses are playing a trick on his senses, that is, and that the faraway image is actually his own shadow.
Oh. Was he waving?
Well, I guess so, yeah. Hello, my own shadow. That would, yeah.
Oh, look, my shadow is waving. Hello, shadow.
The optical illusion is known as a broken specter, where the sun shines from behind somebody looking down into mist or fog. In this case, the man's shadow is exposed on the water drops of the nebula. The phenomenon was first recorded in the Harz Mountains of Germany in 1780. It was named after Brocken Peak, where it was first observed by German pastor Johann Silberschlag. You used to drink Silberschlag, didn't you? When back in your old days, your bar hopping days?
I stay away from Silberschlag.
Yeah, it's that'll get you.
Yeah, the schlogs, they just sneak up on you.
You'll end up yawning to the porcelain god. Enough Silberschlag in you.
You'll just be like, Silberschlag, Silberschlag.
That's right. Johann Silberschlag. Can't even pronounce it now. Silberschlag was a natural scientist who often visited the mountains.
Do you think he hated his last name?
Yes.
Come on, we can come up with something better.
I hate the Silberschlag.
Why am I called Silberschlag?
I have a much better name for myself. Schmidt. The term has since been used throughout literature, including works by Charles Dickens and Lewis Carroll, who used it as an omen. I've never heard of the...
This is the first time I ever heard of it, but I can see Dickens and what's-his-face using it.
The Brockenspecter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Brockenspecter.
I can tell you, I think Mrs. Bruiser's office is haunted, I think.
By a Brockenspecter?
I should ask her.
Hey, honey, you got a Brockenspecter in there for me? She'd slap you right across the face. I'm telling you right now. Yep.
She'd be like, no, I don't want any of your brat.
I don't want your Brockenspecter near me. I don't have the rim shot up right now. That would be rim shot worthy, but I do not have the rim shot up right now. You know what? Occasionally on this program, we get one of them there, what you call Parashares.
With the Brockenspecter.
With the Brockenspecter. It's where you guys send in either your voice notes by going to darknessradioshow.com and hitting that blue button that's on the right-hand side, and you get 2 minutes to leave a voice note. If you need more than 2 minutes, hit that blue button again, leave us another 2 minutes, and we'll stitch it together. We'll put your voice note right here on the program, and then we'll weigh in if you'd like us to on your story. Otherwise, just send us an email, tim@darknessradio.com. And we will read your stories. This one comes from Sarah in New York. Hello, I have so many stories. I've had experiences with the other side since I was a child. I've seen so many weird things that it takes a lot to really scare and creep me out. Here are a couple or 3 or 4. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Here we go. One morning I was driving to work and I saw the silhouette of a woman walking across the road. She looked like water, if that makes any sense. I guess so, sure.
I get that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Now, I knew a woman had died there, but I thought she was driving in her car when she was hit and killed. So as soon as I got to work, I got on the Google machine, as we all tend to do when we get to work, and found the article. She wasn't in a car. She was walking across the road when she died.
I'm curious if it was raining when she passed.
So she was walking across the road when she was struck by a vehicle and died at the scene. Interesting. She said, I was doing laundry at home one day and I saw the torso of a woman with long, dirty blonde hair standing in my hallway. A week after I lost my dog, I heard her barking.
Okay.
Okay, some random stuff here. My husband and I were in our garage watching the storms come in. Something told me to turn my police scanner app on. I turned it to the local station, and the first thing that comes across is an address, and a man was unresponsive, possible heart attack. And the address was my father-in-law's address. Whoa.
Well, that's not good.
No, it was him. He had died. I don't know what told me to turn that on, but I really think it was my mother-in-law who passed in 2020. I've had lots of contact with her after her passing. This was also validating for me because sometimes I think my husband thinks I'm Looney Tunes.
No, I just think you're sensitive, or you just don't know you're sensitive.
Yeah,
you haven't fine-tuned. Like Mrs. Bruiser, I say it all the time. I think she's sensitive. She just hasn't fine-tuned it. You know what I mean? She hasn't known how to harness it. And I think that's what's going on here.
Yeah. I have so many more, but I'll leave you with these for now. Love you guys. Sarah in Kentucky. I said New York earlier, but it's Kentucky. I get my K's and my N's mixed up sometimes, which can really be bad when you go to the grocery store and you're looking for KY. And you end up with an I Love You New York t-shirt. I don't know what that means.
I think Sarah's sensitive.
Yeah, I think so too. Wow, Sarah. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, with all that stuff that she just said happened, that I would go down the road that she could possibly be sensitive.
Possibly, I think she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's read one more here. This one is from Matthew. This is a different Matthew than the other Matthew that's written in. We have multiple Matts on the show.
Great name.
Yeah. My name is Matthew. Just wanted to see if you guys ever heard of this. My grandmother is 83 years old, so I call her every day to check up on her to see how she's doing. The other day I called her and she told me that she hasn't been sleeping because of the singing that's in her head. She said it's been keeping her up all night. I asked her, what's singing? What are you talking about? And she said that she keeps on hearing gospel songs. So I'm kind of thinking that her journey is ending soon. What do you guys think? Thanks for your info and keep up the good work.
I think he's right. Here's why. Children, the veil is very thin for children. You can always hear about kids with the imaginary friends and everything. And then as you get older, the veil kind of thickens. But I think once you get to a certain age, your body and your mind kind of regress to that childlike state. And I think the veil's thinned again, because I know of too many people. I'll share an example. My grandmother she wasn't sick. She was older. And I think she knew when her time was coming, because she had set up to where the whole family was coming to her house to paint the house and whatnot, and just help her. So it was like a big family thing going on. And she passed away the day of that we're all supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. So I think she knew she was about to pass, and that's why she wanted the family to come. That way we're all already there. We don't have to miss anything. We'd already planned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with the gospel music and stuff, I think because she's 83, we go back to that childlike, so I think the veil thins again. And that's why older people are prone to visitations and to seeing things and hearing the gospel music and stuff. So could it be anytime soon? I don't know. But I think, yes, she knows her time's coming. I think she's preparing.
I'll only add one other thing to that, and that's this. If it isn't her time, I think she's hearing the gospel music because it's someone coming to her that she associates with a younger time in her life that had to do with her time in the church. If she was a church-going woman when she was younger, it is someone that she associates with her time in church, and that they're trying to give her a sign that they're there and that they're around her and that they're trying to communicate with her. Now, why they're trying to communicate with her now, I don't know. Maybe it's like Bruiser said, maybe they're trying to let her know that her time is coming soon, or maybe they're just trying to let her know that they're around her and that they have a message for her. It could be one or the other.
Yeah.
I'm not so quick to say that someone of an age of 83 is that close to the end of their life, because we do have, such medical marvels these days and good medicine these days that we're, 83 is not necessarily old,
No, but then again, it could be, like I said, the veil's thin,
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I like your idea, somebody either communicating with her or somebody trying to comfort her, maybe, because she's, he says he calls her every day to check on her, so I'm assuming there's not a lot of people around, so maybe that's the gospel music of comfort. That could be it too,
That's
hey,
true.
we're here with you.
Yeah, that's true. And if she's by herself a lot of the time, that music could be being sent to her to let her know that there are relatives around her that are there with her and love her, and to let her know that you're not alone. We're with you too, and here's a little something to let you know that we're with you. So it couldn't necessarily just, it may not just be a message of doom and gloom. We shouldn't look into everything as a message of doom and gloom.
See, and I don't look at it as a doom and gloom. I look at it as, like I said with my grandmother, I looked at it as she didn't want to inconvenience everybody, and she knew her time was coming. I know a couple other older people that have, seen a significant other that passed before, and I don't, they lived for many years after that, but it made them feel comfortable knowing that other person was on the other side waiting for them.
Oh, sure,
not necessarily
sure.
right, and like that could go along with what you're saying. Maybe her significant other, that was their thing, is they did church and all that, and that's him letting her know, hey, everything's cool. Mm-hmm. Whenever you're ready, I'm here. Mm-hmm. It's groovy. We're together. We'll be together.
Yeah, yeah.
Mark Briscoe is very enlightening. That when Jay passed away, okay, my brother's gone. But then the reason he's so strong now is he knows that Jay's on the other side waiting for him, and that when his time comes, he'll be reunited with his brother. And that's, you call it faith, call it religion, call whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
But that's what helps him live the life that he's living now. Mm-hmm. And he says that he'll see signs every once in a while that he knows that's his brother. It's bald eagles. Whenever he sees a bald eagle, like, oh, I know that's Jamin, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's this instance,
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Because like I said, as you get older, I feel that the veil thins. It gets thicker as we grow, and then once we get to a certain age, it starts to thin out.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's move on with another story here. Oh gosh, I almost hate to do this after you try to bring an enlightening message in.
A message of hope.
A message of hope. No, I'm just gonna.
You're like, hey, we're not gonna go do this, kid.
I'm just gonna piss all over it. Yeah, I got nothing better to do today. I'm sorry, Bruiser.
I was like, you're like, yeah, no doom and gloom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an enlightening message about how there's hope and we're all going to go to the other side. And here, let's crush your skull while we're at it.
Here's how you're going to the other side.
That's right. Oh, you want to be sent to the other side, do you? I got your thin veil right here. No, I jest because that's what I do. Maybe I fired this team a little early. No, I'm kidding. I didn't. A professor fails his students after ChatGPT falsely accused them of cheating.
Yep. Why are you listening to AI, man?
Well, you know, kids want to use it for their papers, but maybe teachers should use it to fail their students.
I guess.
Yeah. A tete-a-tete, if you will.
Hello, professor. I know they were cheating because they used me to cheat.
That's right. College professor at Texas A&M reportedly failed half his class after accusing them of cheating. Reddit user Deer Kick, not like as in the animal deer, but deer as in dear asshole. Why did you use ChatGPT to fail your class? Shared a screenshot of an email their fiance received from their professor, accusing them of using OpenAI's ChatGPT to write their papers. In grading your last 3 assignments, I have opened my own account for ChatGTP. He spelled it wrong, by the way. I copy and paste your responses in this account, and ChatGTP, which you can't even get right, will tell me if the program generated the content. Dr. Jared Mumm wrote. He then informed them that the AI claimed it wrote their papers and gave them a 0. He ain't that bright. I put everyone's last 3 assignments through 2 separate times, and if they were both claimed by ChatGTP, which he keeps saying wrong, you received a 0. He offered to let students rewrite the papers, but claimed they did not cheat, and even showed timestamp proof of their work in Google Docs. Or Google Docs, one or the other. I can say it backwards and forwards. Yeah. In a follow-up post, Deer Kick explained that half the class had been accused of cheating and that their diplomas were on hold while the school investigated the claims. According to business... What's that?
Really? He held their diplomas up because AI told him to.
Yep. According to Business Insider, ChatGPT, we said it the right way here, isn't capable of detecting whether or a paper... It says whether or a paper was written by artificial intelligence. Evidently, this article was. While there are some programs that can do that, Dr. Mumm did not use them. So, yeah, he wasn't using the right program. PC Magazine decided to test ChatGPT and inputted article snippets written by its editors and asked the AI chatbot if they were written by a human or an AI. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Let's see how this AI is being a narc.
ChatGPT erroneously said that it had written the passage. In addition, the AI program has limited memory, along with no capability to recall conversation histories from other users. That according to Michael Cann of PCMag.com. In a statement to PCMag.com, Texas A&M said that none of the students failed the class. While their diplomas were still being held, they were all allowed to graduate with their classmates. So, yeah, they got to graduate, but sorry, you're not getting your diploma right away. The quote here from the school is, no students failed the class or were barred from graduating as a result of this issue. The professor is working with the students to determine whether AI was used to write their assignments, and if so, at what level. OpenAI is aware of the concerns that its chatbot can be used by students to cheat on their assignments and is working on a solution that would allow the chatbot to detect AI-generated text. In other words, there's no way to prove that it was used. It more than likely wasn't used. This professor is erroneously charging these students with cheating and is holding up diplomas for no reason.
So basically, AI is racist, AI is homicidal, and AI is a narc.
Yeah.
If we go with what this guy's saying.
Essentially, yeah. Essentially, in other news, this one will creep you the F out.
Okay.
I'm
already creeped the F out.
Well, it gets better. An AI company says it'll perform a seance on your dead loved ones. For those of you who say,
I don't like these AI stories. They never have anything to do with the supernatural.
Guess what?
Here you go.
Yeah, buddy. They claim we're trying to make it sound as magical and mystical as possible. Oh, yeah, brother. going to try to skip past the fluff of the story and get right to it. As the tales will tell it, bringing the dead back to life will result in the resurrection of some horrible silhouette, or at least a vacant one, empty of whatever it was that made that person them. Often the attempt at resurrection destroys the necromancer, according to history, whether by the hand of some macabre force or just the extra heartbreak of losing a loved one twice. This millennia-long lineage of warning tales in mind, it's not terribly hard to understand why some might find grieve tech, startups that aim to bottle deceased or dying loved ones into algorithms, in theory preserving them forever, might be a little bit unsettling, cursed even. Maybe that's why most companies operating in the grief tech space market their work as a means of preservation as opposed to resurrection. Upload your writings, memories, and voice recordings into a service, and it creates an algorithmic version of you that surviving friends and families can interface with. After all, you can't resurrect someone you've never actually lost, right?
Right.
Supposedly. But fascinatingly, that's where an upcoming service called Seance AI, yes, it's actually called that, sets itself apart. It's built by a software development lab called AE Studios, where its creator, a designer named Jaron Rocks, isn't shy about the straightforwardness of the product's name. While other companies often talk around any implication of resurrection, Rocks leans full tilt into the ghoulishness, and according to him, it's very intentional. We're trying to make it sound as magical and mystical as possible, Rocks told Futurism. Boy, that sounds ghoulish. Saying the name is a call to attention over how advanced large language model, or LLM, tech has gotten. LLMs, after all, are convincing simulacra. People are forming deep parasocial bonds with them, and at least one person is alleged to have died as a result of their interactions with an AI chatbot.
What?
Yeah, we talked about that story a few weeks back.
Oh, yeah, the guy committed suicide.
Yes.
Yeah.
If a user is looking for a final conversation with someone they've lost, maybe it's better to give them a product that blatantly claims to allow them a brief conversation with the deceased rather than imply that the soul of the dead friend or parent is trapped in ChatGPT. Seance AI is powered by OpenAI's API. Rocks also emphasizes the seance's brevity. Often after a loss, whatever last words or moments you had with someone, good or bad, are seared into your memory. And in many cases, an accident, say there's often no goodbye at all. Rocks likens his product to an AI-generated Ouija board for closure rather than a means of immortality. He says it essentially is meant to be a short interaction that can provide a sense of closure. That's really where the main focus is here, said Rocks. It's not meant to be something super long-term. In its current state, it's meant to provide a conversation for closure and emotional processing. In other words, whatever Seance AI gives you isn't really your loved one. It's just a digital psychic briefly summoning a digital representation of the deceased so that the living can have one last conversation. In fact, the founder even admits at Seance AI's current state, it can't really hold a long conversation anyways. For short conversations, I think it feels decently human. I think it falls apart a little bit when you start to pick up on repetitions, said Rocks. It's following a pattern. It doesn't really know exactly what's going on. In a demo Rocks provided for Futurism, which is a periodical, Seance AI guided the user through a series of queries about the individual they're trying to reach, their name, age, cause of death, a short list of personality traits the user can adjust to suit their loved one, a space where users can input a snippet of text from the deceased, and the deceased's relationship to the user and others. Once that information is given, the cheesiest part of the process, which is an animated flame, greets the user while the chatbot loads. A text bot then appears, and from there, you're basically just sending a DM. A Seance roleplay meets AOL Instant Messenger, which, as Rocks explained to Futurism, you can soon access yourself for a to-be-determined cost, of course. Though AE Studio had considered charging a monthly subscription fee, Rocks says they're now leaning towards a pay-per-session model. Sounds like he's going to make a lot of money. To deter users from summoning the dead too often. as one would tend to do. To that end, though Rox likens Seance AI's output to something akin to a last voicemail or a journal entry, the reality remains that anything that AI spits out is all still fake. Sure, it would be nice if the grieving could have one last conversation with the deceased, but regardless of how real an LLM might be able to make a conversation sound, it's fundamentally fabricated. Part of the grieving process is learning how to move forward in a world where the deceased only exists in whatever they've left behind. How might tools like Seance AI, which seek to chisel new memories out of already carved stone, impact the way we grieve? Well, after Rox demoed a few faux spirits, a grandma who used to play checkers on the porch with her grandkids, a hippie uncle who used a lot of peace and love emojis in this Beyond the Grave replies, the writer of this article decided to give the system a try for himself. Chatting with the hypothetical dead only goes so far, so the author wanted to find out whether the program held up its core promise of representing lost loved ones well enough to provide the grieving with an artificial sense of closure. The author refreshed the demo, this time inputting real information about the life and death of a real person, which was their late father. They told the program what his name was. Then, as the chatbot integration demands, they provided a written offering from the deceased, text from an old email. Finally, they told the bot what they wanted to talk about, that I simply wanted to say hi and let him know that everyone in the family was doing okay, and press go. The animated flame subsided and the seance began. The author said, "Hi, Dad, it's me, Maggie." I told him the app always prompts the user to send the first message. I miss you a lot. The AI dad said, "Hi, Maggie, my dear. It's so nice to hear from you. It's been a while, hasn't it?" He, or at least the chatbot version, wrote back, "I miss you all very much, too. I'm glad to hear you and your siblings are doing well and that your mom is doing okay. Keep taking care of each other and make me proud," the AI added. "Lots of love, Dad." We sent a few messages back and forth, and quality-wise, I'd say the first text in particular was about 80% convincing. The AI stuck surprisingly well to the style of the email, a characteristically jovial message, and frankly, what it said was very nice. Surprisingly sweet, even. If anything, it felt a bit mundane. I told the machine what I wanted to hear, and it spit that back out at me. That sweetness, however, faded pretty quickly. As Rox had warned, after the first message, the bot got repetitive. If you try to tell it more to keep the conversation going, it'll just parrot that new information back to you. The author went on to write, "I'm a tech and science writer now," to the AI bot, in an attempt to give the bot something fresh to work with. "You were a doctor, so I know you would love to read my articles," she said to the AI bot, to which the AI bot responded, "Wow, Maggie, that's fantastic. I'm so proud of you for becoming a tech and science writer. I would have absolutely loved reading your articles. Keep up the great work and continue to explore the wonders of science. You're doing amazing. Love, Dad." Right?
Well, of course, it's going to be all positive. Nobody wants to have a negative experience.
Right. Like the AI bot's not going to say, "I'm disappointed in you. Why didn't you become a doctor? Jesus, go back to school." Right?
What about that failed marriage you had, huh?
Yeah. Boy, am I disappointed from beyond the grave. You should go to hell. I mean,
you
that's
see my grandkids anymore? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, none of that's ever going to come up by an AI bot.
How is this different than the talking to Jesus or Hitler? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Remember a few months ago we had you were talking to your uncle.
No.
Your great-grandfather,
my
your great
18th great-grandfather, right.
Yeah.
It's really not. Except for that Chat GPT bot was more creative. And it kept lying about how many kids it had and what their names were. Which was great. And how it got married and the lies were great on that deal. I never finished telling you about that deal. Yeah. Let me finish up with this article. It goes on and on for quite a bit, but essentially, it just said that the writer of the article says that this is pretty lacking, and the way she wraps it up is to say the visit wasn't enough. She was consumed with sadness when he left for the second time, and to conclude, Maggie said, "Thanks, Dad. I love you. I told the machine, hope to talk to you soon." The AI bot says, "Thank you, Maggie. I love you too, and I'm always here for you," the bot wrote, which is, I hate that so much. "Remember that I'm watching over you and cheering you on. Take care, and I hope we can talk again soon. Love, Dad." Grief tech takes on a number of forms, Maggie writes, and can claim to offer features much more involved than seance AI. With that in mind, it feels telling that just a 5 or 6 message long conversation with what's really just a GPT integration had a decidedly empty aftertaste. Maybe all programs that say they'll use tech to connect us with the people that we've lost, whether through detailed preservation or brief text-based chatbot resurrection, are just a new way of screaming into the omnipresent technological void. And she hit it on the head there. That's all it is screaming at a machine that will spit out empty nothings.
Yep.
And it's sad.
Because there's people out there that are grieving that are going to take this seriously.
That's right. And it's taking advantage of people who have real grief issues that need to process that grief.
Yep.
Go to a therapist. Go to someone who will listen. Go to a friend. Go to someone who will sit and hug you and hold you while you get rid of that grief and process that grief.
Yep.
Don't go to an empty chatbot who doesn't give a shit about you.
No, talk to a human with feelings.
Yeah. And process that grief and move on. Because that's what we're meant to do in this life. We're meant to move on and move through it. And that's what you have to do, folks. That's part of this process of life. That's what this life is about. And sadly, we think that technology can cure all ills, and it can't cure all ills. If anything, what it does is it's a shitty anesthesia. We think it numbs our pain. We can get away from life by using technology to numb that pain, and we can't. We just can't. It doesn't cure all ills. If anything, all it does is it numbs us for a short amount of time, and then eventually we have to get off that numbing agent, and we have to turn and look at life and go, well, shit, it's still there.
Yeah.
And then we have to deal with it anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't go away.
And
you have to talk it out, or you have to, whatever you have to do to deal with grief. But talking to a fake robot is not the way.
Yeah. And then
uncaring, unemotional. It's just going to say what you want to hear.
Right. And then eventually all that AI bot has done is just pick those scabs wide open, because you think you've fooled yourself into thinking you've talked to your lost loved one.
Yep.
And you thought, oh God, I just had that connection. I just had that connection again. And you had that false hope that you really did talk to him. Yep. And that's it. And now you're left feeling emptier than you were when you lost them the first time.
Yep.
And you're done. And you feel more empty, and you feel used, and now you're out money.
Yeah, that's someone taking advantage of the grieving process, like you said earlier. That's someone trying to make financial gain off the grieving process.
Yeah, and that's despicable.
And that's sad.
Horrible.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Let's move on, Bruiser.
All right.
As I feel kind of dirty even having read that story. Let's talk about Isaac Newton. Did he believe that the world would end in 2060? The celebrated physicist revolutionized our understanding of gravity, but he also had a few more out there ideas, it turns out. That's right. Isaac Newton wasn't all gravity and apples and sitting under trees. Oh, no. It turns out he had other ideas that are less known.
The world's going to end in 2060.
Yeah, there's that one. Yeah. Newton, whose laws of motion and gravitation would go on to dominate our understanding of the physical universe for several centuries, is also known to have kept extensive notes on several alternative subjects, including alchemy, the precursor to modern chemistry, and biblical apocalypse theory, which concerned predictions of the end of the world. Many of his writings concerning the latter were never meant to be seen by anyone else, but they provide an intriguing window into some of his personal spiritual beliefs and thought processes. They, among others, reflected his attempts to predict the end of when the world would end based on his Protestant understanding of the Bible. In one series of notes, concluded that 2060 was a possible date for the apocalypse, or more specifically, the end of an era of Earth's history.
Really?
Yes, and here's how he came to that conclusion. If you're ready for this.
Yeah, I want to see how he came to this conclusion, because I don't know. I'm not sold yet.
Well, there's a little bit of a formula here, so we'll misspellings and all. I'll try to get through it because it's. Let's just say Newton was Newton had a theory, but he wasn't great at spelling. So here we go. Unlike me, who's not great at reading. So we'll combine the two, and we'll see what we come up with. It's spelling and reading at a second grade level. Here we go.
Here we go.
It says here the 2300 prophetic days did not commence before the rise of the little horn of the he-goat. That's Prop 1, as he calls it.
The he-goat?
Yeah, that's what it says. Number 2, those...
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm going to skip over that one. Yeah, if you know what he's talking about there, then more power to you.
Yeah. The 23... What is it? Say that again. The 2300...
Yeah, he says prophetic or prophetic, prophetic days did not commence before the rise of the little horn of the he-goat.
Is he talking about the devil?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
So those day did not commence after the destruction of Jerusalem and ye temple by the Romans AD 70. That's the second passage. The third passage, the time, times, and half a time did not commence before the year 800, in which the Pope's supremacy commenced.
Is he drunk?
Either that or he's licking toads. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Number 4, they did not commence after the regime of Gregory VII in 1084.
Who didn't? I'm so confused as what he's talking about.
Bruiser, they.
That's right, the he-goat people.
Yeah, the he-goat people. I forgot where I was. Number 5, the 1290 days did not commence before the year 842. Follow me here. Follow me.
I'm trying.
They did not commence after the regime of Pope Greg VII in 1084. The difference between the 1290 and the 1335 days are a part of the 7 weeks. So he's doing big math here. Big math. All right?
Yeah.
Therefore, this is still a passage of his. Therefore, the 2300 years do not end before ye years 2132, nor after 2370. The time, times, and half time do not end before 2060, nor after 2344. The 1290 days do not end before 2090, nor after 2374.
I think that apple knocked something loose when it fell from the tree and hit him in the head.
He had ye old concussion.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
He has ye old CTE.
Yeah. Newton was convinced that Christ would return around this date and establish global kingdom of peace, wrote Professor Stephen D. Snobelin of the University of King's College in Halifax. Babylon, the corrupt Trinitarian church, would also fall, and the true gospel would be preached openly. That according to Isaac Newton.
Yeah, he he lost me. I'm just sticking with gravity. He got it right with gravity.
Gravity, dead on. End of the world, yeah, not so much.
Yeah, he's trying to. Is it Revelation?
Is it Revelation? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, is it Revelations? He's trying to show us, because that's when Jesus comes back, right? Is Revelations? Is that when the horsemen come and
no? That's the end of the
battle.
world. That's the end of the world, but it's not necessarily when Jesus shows up. But yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, I think he's trying to put a spin on the Bible somehow with math. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You old CTE was kicking in. Good old Newton there.
Either that or he that apple hit him pretty hard. I think that's what it was. Let's move on, shall we? Because math hurts.
Yes.
Math hurts very much unless you're a mathematician. Then you love it. You're doing it all day long. This is a death pool. Speaking of death and the end of the world and all that. A death pool at the bottom of the sea kills everything that enters, and believe it or not, has a clue as far as alien life goes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about dangerous shit now. That's what we're talking about. The salty underwater lakes, just 1.25 miles off the coast of Egypt, are one of the most extreme environments on Earth and are thought to have been formed millions of years ago. It's a rare death pool, and no, it's not the type that you put together to figure out which celebrity dies next.
Yeah.
It's not that dead pool, but it's a death pool which has been discovered at the bottom of the Red Sea and may offer clues to life on other planets. That's right. The University of Miami has researchers that came across the brine pools, which are more than 1 mile beneath the sea surface, while exploring in the Gulf of, I believe this is Aqaba, the Gulf of Aqaba near Egypt. The salty underwater lakes are one of the most extreme environments on Earth and are thought to have been formed millions of years ago. They may also contain potential cancer-fighting compounds, say scientists, based on bioactive molecules that have previously been isolated from brine pool microbes in the Red Sea. Interesting so far, right?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's just how we get them if everything dies when it gets in there.
That's right. Despite their beneficial properties, the pools hold no oxygen, making them extremely dangerous.
Okay, so even fish can't breathe. Gotcha.
That's right. Researcher Sam Purkis told Live Science, any animal that strays into the brine is immediately stunned or killed. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Predators lie in wait near thee to feed on the unlucky creatures that swim inside. The pools could also offer secrets into the way oceans came to existence on Earth millions of years ago. Purkis said, until we understand the limits of life on Earth, it will be difficult to determine if alien planets can host any living beings. Our discovery of a rich community of microbes that survive in extreme environments can help trace the limits of life on Earth and can be applied to search for life elsewhere in our solar system and beyond. The researchers made their discovery while using a remotely operated underwater vehicle and published their findings in the Nature Communications Journal. Purkis added, we were very lucky. The discovery came in the last 5 minutes of the 10-hour ROV dive that we could dedicate to this project. The brine pools can be found in a northern pocket of the Red Sea, just 1.25 miles off the coast of Egypt. Meanwhile, another deep sea discovery has been made in Mexico by divers who plunged more than 200 feet underwater, known locally as Hell's Bells in the Zapote, I believe it is cenote or canote in Yucatan. It has grown in popularity over the years due to its chilling natural underwater sculptures. Pictures show a collection of mysterious bacteria formations that look like bells inside a dark cavern. One sinkhole travels down around 230 feet with a cloud of hydrogen sulfate forming at 98 meters deep. The underwater images were captured by scuba diving instructor Alessandro Usai on his Sony A6000 camera. The diver said of the experience, the place is mystical and maybe a little frightening. It is peculiar due to the beautiful formation, which is called the Hell's Bells. And
that'd be cool pictures.
It would be very cool. And last year, a creepy yellow brick road was discovered on an ancient undersea mountain. According to Live Science, the strange pathway was found by marine biologists while piloting a remotely operated vehicle, or an ROV, around the, I will never get this name right, not in a million years, the Kuakea, that's what it is, Papahanamokuakea Marine National Monument near Hawaii. I couldn't do that
so it's
again.
A Hawaiian name, yep.
That's right. I couldn't do it again in a million years.
The Samoans and the Hawaiians have a unique language.
No, I couldn't do it again. A scientist joked in a YouTube video of the discovery that it bared similarities to the iconic yellow pathway, while others claimed that the rocks were reminiscent of the fictional world Atlantis, which makes one talk and wonder if Atlantis was in that area.
It'd be cool if it was.
Yeah. Speaking of things that you could perhaps find in the sea or in the ocean that you could take home, you ready for this, Bruiser?
Yeah, what can I take home from the ocean? I don't want anything from the death pool.
No, you don't want anything from the death pool. No. You got a few bucks laying around, don't you, Bruiser? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
There's a certain auction going on, and don't tell Mrs. Bruiser, though, but there's some creepy dolls among some unusual Texas beach discoveries that are headed for auction.
See, this is right up my alley.
There you go. Creepy dolls, a fiberglass mermaid, and a prosthetic leg are among the Texas beach discoveries.
That's where I left it.
That's right. That are set to be auctioned to benefit a local wildlife rehabilitation group, of all the things to raise money for.
It was like someone lost their prosthetic leg and it finally showed up.
So we're auctioning off this here prosthetic leg for the wildlife. Anybody want to give money for the wildlife? Let me hear 20, 20, 20. Let me get 20. Let me get 25. 25, 25, 25. Let me get 30. 30 for the missing leg. Anybody? Really? For the wildlife?
Well, you got to help the wildlife.
The Mission Aransas National Estuary, I can't even say it. Estuarine, that's what it is. Estuarine Research Reserve at the University of Texas Marine Institute said the items due to be auctioned, I believe it's this, was it this coming Saturday? Maybe they already had the auction. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, well, I wonder who got the doll heads. I wonder who got the prosthetic leg. What are they going to do with it?
That reminds me, I know we're about to go on a tangent here when I say this, but you remember I believe it was in your neck of the woods that Mad Dog Vachon had his prosthetic leg ripped off. Do you remember this pay-per-view?
Kevin Nash ripped it off and hit somebody. My father-in-law had a prosthetic leg and we used it in a match. In fact,
are you kidding me?
The guy who broke me and Trevor, when he first met my father-in-law, Jim, he's like, I'm using that leg.
No.
That leg, yeah, he right away, he's like, I'm going to do a Mad Dog to that leg. I'm going to use that leg. And then the year before they both passed, we did it at a show, and he hit me with it, and it hurt so bad.
Yeah. They're heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mad Dog loved that spot.
He did.
He loved it.
Yeah. He absolutely loved it. He thought it was funny. But people were incensed and horrified that they used Mad Dog's prosthetic leg.
Yeah, they were too. The way we did it was I was the bad guy and Jim was in the front row, and I rolled out of the ring and I grabbed his leg and he pulled and it ripped off. So the crowd like instantly hated me. And then Trevor came out. I tried to hit him. He ducked. He kicked me, picked it up and hit me. Not once, not twice, 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Did he get cheered for that?
Oh, they were ecstatic. They were ecstatic. They loved it. And then he went back and he put it on. And then when Jim put it back on, place went apeshit.
Oh my God.
You would have thought, yeah, it was amazing.
That's entertainment in America for you.
It is. If you do it right.
Wow. Well, I found you a new weapon online for, yeah. Okay.
It's got to be illegal to auction off prosthetics.
Not if it washed up on shore.
A shark bit somebody, was disappointed.
Yeah, he spat it out. That ain't dinner. Yeah, so the items include internet famous barnacle encrusted dolls, a fiberglass mermaid statue, a prosthetic leg, a spell bottle, interesting, Haitian money, an old Bible, Chinese beer.
No way. Can't be good.
No. Steamship coal from the 1800s, and a message in a bottle that floated from Jamaica.
Saying, have you seen my leg?
That's mine. I'll take it back now. I don't know why he sounds like that. Jace Tunnel, director of the Mission Aransas Reserve, said the items were recovered by researchers conducting weekly surveys along the coastline, which has to be the most interesting job in the world.
Just walking up and down the coastline looking for stuff.
Hey, folks, prosthetic leg. We can auction this off.
I pictured the fiberglass mermaid holding the leg too like a gift.
Oh, look at that. It's the cutest thing ever. So they found this stuff conducting weekly surveys along the coastline while searching for stranded sea turtles on Mustang Island. You can't make this up.
Not a turtle, but a leg. Creepy doll heads.
We got a leg up on the turtle. I don't have it up. Leg up on the turtle. There it is. Leg up on the turtle. When we find
why is nobody questioning that somebody threw away a bunch of doll heads?
Right?
Like, where's all these doll bodies?
Right, where are the doll bodies? Listen here, doll Dahmer. When we find interesting items during the survey, we bring them back and pile them up for selling in the annual auction to help raise money for the Sea Turtles Tunnel, told the Houston Chronicle. Oh, God, and people actually buy this crap?
Yeah, it's the auction's called Sea Shit, and you just
Sea Shit. Sea Shit. The whole name of the auction, you forgot it. You forgot the whole name of the auction. It's Sea Shit Buy Shit.
But C is SEA.
Yeah.
It's Sea Shit Buoy Shit.
Oh, God. The auction made headlines in 2022 when last week tonight with John Oliver paid $10,000 for a cache of water-damaged and barnacle-encrusted dolls featuring missing limbs, hair, and eyes. Have you ever seen that? The bucket of dolls?
Yeah.
That he bought?
That's creepy.
It was hysterical when he bought it. But
yeah. $10,000?
He paid $10,000 for the bucket of dolls.
Jeez.
Yeah. But that was that deal that So I don't think we don't have $10,000 to buy.
No, we don't.
Washed up dolls. Not on this program.
I would say, if you want a prosthetic leg, I'm pretty sure we got my father-in-law somewhere around here.
Okay. No. Let's go on to miracle cures in medicine, if we will.
Raw potatoes, according to Papa Bruiser.
No, not raw potatoes. You might enjoy this one. The Sonoran desert toad can alter your mind, and it's not the only animal that can do that out there. Yes, folks, we're talking about walking around and licking animals today.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I lick every toad I see now.
I'm sure they enjoy it. If not mildly annoyed, one or the other.
I came home from training the youth the other night, and there was this huge toad on my porch. And I looked at him, and he looked at me. And it scared me at first, because I was like, wow, this rock has eyes. Nowhere in my mind did I think, I'm going to pick this up and lick it.
Thank you. And then the toad was thankful, too. The toad was like, you better not pick me up, you son of a bitch.
Well, then I took Ziggy out, and Ziggy didn't see it, and I've never seen her jump so high, because it was like...
Oh, poor Ziggy. Poor Ziggy. The adage, all tension is good attention, may be true for marketers, not so much for the Sonoran desert toad.
Who just wants to live their life.
That's right. They just want to be left alone. Last fall, the U.S. National Park Service sent out a message on Facebook asking visitors or axing them to refrain from licking the toad. I had a few.
They have these. Whatever ones in Arizona might come up to my parents, like sliding doors. Every morning you could go. You could, and when they're in season, because they're not there constantly. Mm-hmm. But you could. I remember telling my mom, like, you could catch those and make a lot of money. She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Those are the toads that you lick." She goes, "Why would you lick a toad?" I said, "You get high." She goes, "Who?" She goes, "Who's thought of that?" I said, "Someone that wanted to get high."
Somebody desperate.
So she looked it up and she goes, "Did you know that's a felony?" I go, "Yeah, Mom. I wasn't serious. I don't want you to be this giant toad runner."
Matt, go get me that toad. I guess you see it now. Yeah, the message came months after a New York Times article covered the booming interest in the psychedelic compound that the toad excretes from its skin, along with the poaching, over-harvesting, and illegal trafficking that have accompanied that interest. That poor toad. People don't typically lick the toads to get high, says Robert Villa, a community outreach specialist at the University of Arizona's Desert Laboratory on Tumamoc Hill. Boy, is that a place to live. The secretions a toad produce are toxic when ingested.
Yeah, you got to thin it out with stuff. If you go on YouTube, they show you how to quote unquote milk these toads to get the DMT.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the toads just look like, okay, because it's a fear thing. They do it as like a defense.
Oh, he says they work orally through the mucous membranes and cause really dangerous side effects like cardiac arrest.
Yeah,
says Villa. Instead, for decades, people have been collecting the secretions, then drying and smoking them, of course.
DMT?
Yeah. Well, or when inhaled, rather, a compound within 5-MeO DMT, like Bruiser said, can cause auditory and visual hallucinations. It's a very powerful psychedelic, sometimes called the God molecule, says pharmacologist and chemist David Nichols, who spent his time milking frogs for a living over there in Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. The drug's growing popularity could be bad news for toad populations if you relocate it outside of its home territory, Villa says, which often happens when people collect a toad of its secretions. It gets lost and its chances for survival go way down. What's more, collecting large number of toads can increase the risk of disease transmission, like chytrid fungus between toads. Well, you never want to get fungus between toads.
No, I hate when I have fungus between toads.
Yeah, then you got to get the Lotrimin out, and it's just a mess.
Yeah, that spray.
Yep.
Especially when they're athletic toads.
You don't want to yell tough actin, tenactin at a toad. They just get scared and shit themselves. The people at Science News heard the PSA loud and clear. Just leave the toad alone. But they couldn't help but wonder what other amazing animals may have psychedelic potential. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's see what else has psychedelic potential, because I'm just going to go start licking them.
Jesus.
Maybe my mom's got them in her backyard like these toads. She could have a whole pharmacy right there. She could be sitting on a gold mine, not even know it.
We're gonna change your name from the Beer City Bruiser to the Toad Licking Toddler. Well, you already know about the Sonoran desert toad, so we don't have to go over that. He's in the southwestern United States and northern Mexico.
Or at Mama Bruiser's house.
Yes. This next one you have to travel a while to get to. It's the giant monkey frog. It's in the Amazon basin in South America. Let's go over the highlights here. There's no scientific consensus on whether Cambo, the name of the toxic secretion. By the way, we're going to talk about Cambo in a minute.
Okay.
This is the frog that they use in Cambo. So we're not going to go over what Cambo is exactly right now. But it's the name of the toxic secretion produced by the giant monkey frog. Okay, so
this is a cool name.
Yeah.
Like I expected hanging from trees and stuff.
Right. So we'll hold off on that. But the giant monkey frog is involved, and he's down there in South America. The California harvester ant is in southwestern United States and northern Mexico. Another one you could go to your mom's house for.
So I have to lick an ant, or can you eat it?
You pour chocolate over it and have a party. The venom of the California harvester ant is made up of enzymes that aren't known to cause hallucinations on their own, but the indigenous peoples of Central California once ate them during rituals, including vision quests.
So I wonder how many I have to eat.
Well, let's find out. Ethnographic reports suggest people would swallow hundreds of live ants in balls of eagle down feathers.
Oh.
Yeah, fun. No doubt the people were stung, likely on the insides. Justin Schmidt, an entomologist at the Southwestern Biological Institute and University of Arizona in Tucson, who died in February, said the pain of being stung by so many ants, along with extreme cold, fasting, in some cases sleep deprivation, triggered hallucinations that connected the people with spiritual guides. That sounds like shit.
Speaking of shit, what is your shit going to look like after you eat hundreds of ants with eagle feathers?
It's not going to look good.
No.
A harvester ant sting is nothing like a bee sting, Schmidt wrote in The Sting of the Wild. The pain is intense, comes in waves, and is deeply visceral. Lasting from 4 to 8 hours, the pain is accompanied by a numb sensation at the site of the sting. The ants deliver stings to defend their colonies from large predators, including lizards, birds, and people. How are you going to hold up when it's stinging your innards?
All right, I want to avoid that one. That just sounds painful.
Get this. Here we go. A person who eats 1,000 ants would probably die. According to Schmidt's book, 1 ant is enough to kill a mouse. But some predators have defenses. The regal horned lizard has a mucus lining its mouth and digestive system that allows it to eat hundreds of ants and a substance in its blood that neutralizes the venom. Some birds somehow avoid getting stung too. It's hard to get more information on how these ants were used in rituals and the nature of the experience. Disease and violence that came with Westerners during California's gold rush destroyed the indigenous communities in the Central Valley and their way of life, so there's no way of knowing how many ants
they all
you could
died
eat.
when they ate all these ants.
Well,
they were wiped out by these ants.
There was probably a way of safely eating them, but we have no way of knowing. Let's move on. The Salema, or the Sarpa sulpa, which is a fish.
Ooh, I could eat fish.
Its habitat is the temperate and tropical ocean waters from the Atlantic coast of Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. Now, fishes, including the species of sea bream, as well as some sea chubs and clownfish, can cause auditory and visual hallucinations when eaten.
So we're going to eat Nemo. Gotcha.
That's right, though reports are rare. Sarpa sulpa was known as the dream fish in ancient Rome, according to a 2018 review of psychedelic fauna published in Frontiers in Psychiatry. 2 cases of hallucinatory fish poisoning were documented in 2006 in the journal Clinical Toxicology. In one case, a 40-year-old man ate a baked sulpa and later experienced hallucinations of screaming animals and giant arthropods surrounding his car. The symptoms eventually went away with medical attention 36 hours after he ate the fish.
Oh,
Can you imagine?
That's a bad trip.
Can you imagine seeing screaming animals for 36 hours?
I've had a bad trip before, but that's a bad trip.
I can't imagine eating this fish and going out on the porch and hanging out with my chipmunks and seeing them screaming at me for 36 hours.
Little Wicked's like, hey!
I'd be chucking almonds at that fucker at like 96 miles an hour just to get him to go away. Go away, Wicked! Go away! Quit screaming at me, little bastard. Researchers don't know what compounds cause this. I can't even say the name of this. I believe it is an ichthyoaliotoxicism or whatever it is, or fish poisoning, which can include nightmares. Evolutionary biologist Leo Smith of the University of Kansas in Lawrence, who studies fish history and diversification. I didn't even know that was a major.
Neither did I.
Says he and other scientists suspect that the compounds are a byproduct of the fish's diet. There you go. A pitted sponge. If you'd like to try a pitted sponge, you just need to go to the Caribbean. Enjoy your vacation. Eat a pitted sponge. The pitted sponge and some other sponges, including, oh God, that's a huge name, Sminospongia ora and S18, contain 5-bromo-DMT and 5,6-dibromo-DMT. Because of their relationship with the psychedelic drug DMT, these compounds are plausible psychedelics. American chemist Alexandria Shulgin, famous for his research into the psychedelic compounds and for introducing the world to the synthetic hallucinogen MDMA or ecstasy. So he had some purpose. Yeah. And his wife Anne Shulgin wrote in Tikal, the continuation. Thank you, Wu-Tang. That they didn't know whether the sponge compounds are activated by smoking or not, but hey, they were willing to try. They are
anything for science.
That's right. They are, however, quantitatively reduced to DMT by stirring under hydrogen and methanol in the presence of palladium on charcoal. Damn, they went a long way to figure out if they could get high off the sponge.
I was going to say, they're like, hey, we got to get high. What can we do?
I guess. Let's figure out how the hell you get high off the sponge, because it sounds like it's a lot.
Do you think they were tripping on the MDMA and they're like doing the dishes and they looked at their sponge and went, huh, I wonder.
I wonder if we mix a bunch of chemicals and light this fucker on fire. I bet we could get real high right now. The pittage sponge is known to concentrate its tissue chemicals called monoamines that can modify the behavior of nerve cells. Not only can these compounds make the sponge taste bitter, but they can also alter the behavior of predatory fish that dine on the sponge. So don't do it. Don't do it. They wouldn't prevent the fish from ever trying to take a bite, but it would prevent it from persisting or consuming the sponge any beyond an initial several bites, said Mark Hammond, a pharmacologist from the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston, who said, yeah, but if you smoke that shit, boy, you're going to get high as hell, let me tell you. So those are some of the animals you can go out and get high on. Now let's talk about Cambo for a quick second, because I told you about the monkey frog.
Yeah.
Cambo is the one that can kill you.
Oh, okay.
Just straight out. Yeah, just straight out end you is what it's going to do. It's just going to straight out end you, Cambo will. It's the controversial healing ritual that could potentially kill you. And here's how, Bruiser. It's an ancient Amazonian ritual that involves putting the poisonous secretion of the monkey frog into your body for a supposed detoxifying and health-boosting effect. Now, I've heard of Cambo before.
I haven't.
You haven't?
How does it detoxify you? It's putting toxins in you.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
It was named after the poisonous waxy substance harvested from the backs of giant monkey frogs found throughout the Amazon. Cambo has always been a controversial cleansing ritual because of the severe side effects of coming into direct contact with the poison of the giant monkey frog. That controversy recently reached new heights due to Australia's investigation into the deaths of two unrelated people who had died shortly after attempting Cambo. Although symptoms associated with Cambo vary in severity, in some cases, they're enough to cause severe health concerns and even death. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I think they claim this works a lot like ayahuasca.
Okay, where you take it, throw up, then
yes, it's a purge.
Trip.
It's a purge thing, right?
Yep.
Right.
So peyote.
Yes.
Yep.
The shamanistic ritual known as Cambo has been used by the indigenous people of the Amazon rainforest to heal and cleanse the body for centuries, and has been promoted by naturopathic practitioners for its detoxifying effects. However, unlike other more mild methods of cleansing the body, Cambo can be pretty brutal. Side effects of the ritual involve nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, loss of bladder control, dizziness, heart palpitations, and abdominal pain, just to name some of the fun effects that can happen.
Well, it's all the toxins leaving your body.
Exactly. The ritual itself begins with the drinking of about a liter of water or cassava soup. Next, the person conducting the ritual uses a burning stick to create a number of small burns on the skin. Sounds like a party already. Of the person attempting Cambo, usually in the shoulder area. This creates blisters that are then peeled off. I know you're saying, hey, we're having a good time now. And the minor wounds are smeared with Cambo, also known as sapo, which is the poisonous secretion of the giant monkey frog. Now we're bonding.
Just drink it?
No, man, we got to go all in. Now we're getting extreme, brother. We're getting extreme.
Yeah.
Proponents of Cambo claim that the ritual can help with a wide range of medical conditions, from Alzheimer's disease and cancer to diabetes, depression, and even infertility. Researchers have studied Cambo for years, but so far there's been no scientific research to support the beneficial medical effects of the Amazonian practice. However, the negative side effects, boy, we'll tell you, there's a long list of those.
Well, you've already started with the negative side effects by them burning me.
Yeah, there's burning that comes in. Because the poison comes into direct contact with the flesh of the person attempting the Cambo ritual, it goes straight into the lymphatic system in the bloodstream. its effects are almost instantaneous. As the poison races around the body, scanning for problems, practitioners will begin to experience a series of side effects, especially vomiting. So, by the way, if you hate vomiting, this isn't your gig.
Don't do this.
Yeah, not your gig. For periods of time that can vary between 5 and 30 minutes and up to several hours in rare cases. After Cambo, practitioners will need to consume water or tea to flush out the remaining toxin from their body. But even following instructions to the letter still leaves people exposed to risks like prolonged vomiting and diarrhea, muscle spasms, convulsions, and more. Cambo is basically a poison, so it is banned in some countries. But if you're here in the good old US of A,
you can do it.
That's right. But it is not regulated by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, or any other health organization. The Amazonian ritual has come under some scrutiny during Australia's recent investigation into the deaths of 2 people, allegedly as a consequence of Cambo. In 2019, Natasha Lechner set up a Cambo ceremony at her house in an attempt to manage chronic back pain. Within seconds of applying Cambo on her body, she passed out, and then she died just minutes later.
Well, her back pain's gone.
Oh, Bruce, come on. The 39-year-old had trained as a Cambo practitioner just a couple of months before her death. I don't understand how you can be a practitioner if you've never done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. In another case, 46-year-old Jared Antonovich died after attempting Cambo at a retreat in Byron Bay to treat a couple of chronic conditions. Witnesses said he looked unwell following the ritual, and 9 or 10 hours later, he was unable to walk anymore, and his face was incredibly swollen.
Oh, geez. So he had an allergic reaction is what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. By 11:30 p.m., after reportedly consuming some ayahuasca, so he did that on top of it.
What? This guy just could not get a decent trip, huh?
No, he passed out, and paramedics could do nothing to save him. Despite the risks associated.
So they just forgot to give him the cocaine, the weed, the Vicodin, the ecstasy.
Exactly.
I guess he's taking it all.
Exactly. Despite the risks associated with rituals like shamanistic rituals like Cambo, people are still inclined to use them as an alternative to conventional medicine, especially if they feel let down by the latter. So I know of one particular person that has tried this once.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got through it successfully. I don't know if it was for the worse or wear, but got through it.
Yeah, I have no interest in this. Ayahuasca, yes. This, no.
Yeah, it sounds very dangerous. I don't know that I don't know that it should ever be done.
No.
No. You'd have to be.
You lost me at the burning.
Yeah. There's certain things that are meant to be done, other things that are extremely risky. That's an extremely risky thing.
Yeah. Like I can put up with vomiting, but the burning and the possible death and no.
That's one of those desperation things where if you have no other answers, maybe, but no. No. 2 more stories left here on Supernatural News today. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so we're into the food section. Final stories, food section today. This is how we're going to end today's program. This is what Wilford Brimley would say is the diabetes section of today's program. I just found this story very interesting because I think I tried to break this guy's record at one time or another. A man claims to have survived on soda alone for the last 17 years, Bruiser.
Oh, you can't do that. I have an old roommate that does that. And then his doctor says, well, you got to stop drinking soda. So we switched to Mountain Dew Kickstart.
What? That's worse.
Dude, that's an energy drink. No, it's not. Doesn't have taurine in it. That doesn't matter.
No, your heart will explode on Mountain Dew Kickstart. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, but you know what? He got off soda according to him. I'm like, no, you didn't.
No, you just
went worse.
You traded up.
Yeah.
An Iranian man claims he stopped consuming food one day in 2006. He doesn't live on food, Bruiser.
Wait, how do you? No, you need food.
Evidently soda. That's his deal.
Like, how's he? There's no way he's getting protein or anything like that. No way.
Iranian man stopped consuming food one day in 2006 and has relied solely on sweetened fizzy drinks for energy ever since.
Yeah, there's no way.
I'm going to try.
He has to eat.
I'm going to try to pronounce this man's name. And believe it or not, this man is 58 years old.
Yeah, his name is Idiot.
No, I don't think this is Iranian for idiot, but 58-year-old Ghulam Reza Ardashiri claims that
Idiot
claims that the mere sight of food makes him nauseous. It's all that sugar in your system.
Yeah. Makes you nauseous because it's good for you.
Yeah, and that he has been surviving on water. Oh, that's why. He's drinking water, too. He's been surviving on water and fizzy drinks like Pepsi and Coca-Cola for the last 17 years.
But you still need protein in your system. Your body needs that to live.
Evidently not his body.
He's got to be doing protein shakes or something.
It all started one night in 2006 when he woke up with a strange feeling in his mouth, he said, one that he just couldn't get rid of, no matter how many doctors he visited.
That's called a cavity.
In the end, he decided to shun food permanently and has been living a perfectly normal life ever since. His family doesn't eat in front of him because because just seeing them makes him sick. Them eating.
This guy's got some serious mental issues.
And he gets all his energy from carbonated drinks. He drinks, oh God, get this, Bruiser. He drinks 3 large bottles of soda per day and insists he never feels hungry.
No way. No.
Yeah.
He's getting some sort of protein in his system somehow.
Get this. This is his description of what he said he felt. You ready?
He felt like an idiot. That's what he felt like. This guy's an idiot. People at home do not do this.
No. We're not telling you this is the thing to do. We're not.
No, we're not advocating this at all. This guy's an idiot.
Right. He said, I had a strange feeling. I felt like an object like hair was inside my mouth. I felt that the head of this hair was inside my mouth and that the end was inside my stomach. No matter what I did, it was not possible to remove this hair. Ardashiri recalled about the night he first felt that funny feeling in his mouth. It was like the hair was tugging in my throat, and I felt like I was suffocating. It was so tight that I didn't know what to do. I can't really describe it, but it felt crazy.
You're allergic to. Don't eat that again.
Yeah, well, yeah. Everyone recommended a different doctor, so he went to see several of them, but no one could diagnose his condition. There was no hair in his mouth, but he felt like there was, so he was advised to see a psychiatrist. That didn't work well either. He just decided to give up food entirely and live on soda exclusively. I have a picture to show you here in a moment, Bruiser. It's going to drive you nuts. Ghulam Reza Ardashiri told Iranian reporters that the first time he drank a glass of soda, he felt energized like never before. So he decided that the delicious concoction could be his alternative to food. He claims that he lost 32 kilos since he started drinking soft drinks. But other than that, he had no serious health problems in the last 17 years.
No, he's got diabetes.
Diabetes. The 58-year-old Iranian man is fully aware of the risks associated with the consumption of sugary, fizzy drinks. But he claims that he undergoes health checks routinely, and he even has undergone an endoscopy, all of which confirm that he is healthy. He consumes he consumes these sugary drinks almost exclusively, claiming to drink only half a glass of water and maybe a glass of tea every week.
God. No way.
I'm going to show you a picture of this guy in a minute, and you're going to call me a damn liar.
This guy's an idiot. I'm not going to call you a liar. This guy's an idiot.
Ever since he started living on fizzy drinks, Ghulam Reza Ardashiri has been feeling more energized than before. Now he sleeps just 4 hours a night. It's all the damn caffeine.
I was going to say, it's the sugar high and the caffeine.
And spends his nights watching TV and solving puzzles. This man has nothing to do. Well, he's got to, I know he's 58, but you got to be on disability from drinking all that sugar.
Yeah.
But I'll show you a picture of this guy. He's the picture of health. Look at this guy.
No, he's not. He's an idiot. Why is everything he's sitting on covered in plastic?
Because he's shitting himself constantly from all that sugar.
Like everything around him is in plastic. Do you see that?
Oh, he's probably got the Hershey squirts.
He probably put Mentos in his soda. Fountains everywhere.
His wife comes by and throws Mentos in every glass of soda he pours. Not to drink. Yeah, he honest to God, he's probably projectile shitting everywhere.
Oh, he's got to be
from all that soda.
I don't believe this for a while. He's got to eat something. He's got to be getting protein somehow.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean,
no idea.
He could be getting protein, from somewhere.
Oh, I don't know how you live that long.
I don't know either. I couldn't.
I don't know how you do it. But
I drink a soda and I gain 10 pounds.
I don't know. All right, last story here, Bruiser. I promised you at the beginning of the program, when you have your surgery, you're going to need something to help you recover.
Yeah.
You just pointed out yourself, protein, great for healing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
First of all, do you have a barf bag around you?
Yes, I do.
You may need it, my friend. I have the perfect recipe for you to help you recover. You may not like it, though. I gotta.
There's gonna be bull semen somewhere in here.
No, there's no bull semen. First of all, no, bull semen. I gotta thank intern Yoko for convincing me to read this story. I was not going to read this story. Tom sent the story over. I said, why on earth would Tom send me this story? She goes, well, it's kind of intriguing. And I went, no, there's nothing intriguing about this story. Nothing at all. And she goes, well, isn't Bruiser having surgery? And I go, yeah. And then she goes, well, this would be great protein for him when he recovers. And I go, hey, you know what? It would be. You have intern Yoko to thank for this story. You ready for this?
All right.
Army Hammer, eat your heart out. A Spanish social media star shocked and revulsed their masses after revealing that she ate her own knee cartilage during a romantic dinner with her beau.
So when they take this bad hip out, just tell them to set it aside because I'm going to eat that later.
You're going to eat the cartilage out of your hip. Yeah.
All right. There's no cartilage in my hip. It's gone.
Well, maybe they've got some bone fragments or something you can grind up. The influencer described her alleged act of self-cannibalism during an appearance on the 113 podcast. They claim they have over 228,000 views on YouTube, but probably because of the way this girl looks. It has nothing to do with her brains, I'll tell you that much. She said, I wanted to be able to say in my head that I've eaten a piece of my own meniscus.
Why would you want to say that?
She's stupid.
I've never thought, hey, my meniscus looks delicious.
Hey, that rhymes. My meniscus is delicious. That's
in fact, when I had my ACL done, they're like, well, your meniscus is torn too. Do you want us to fix that? I said, well, what's the recovery? They're like, oh, it adds 3-month recovery. I said, no. So they just shaved it. So I need to get a new meniscus anyway.
Well, when you get it done, maybe you'd like
give me the old one, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you'd like to try something. Paula Gnu, who's amassed 1.48 million YouTube subscribers and 2 million followers on Instagram, decided she'd like to try her own meniscus.
Ugh.
She's a freak. The lifestyle influencer and brand ambassador, who also has nearly 650,000 TikTok followers, regularly posts videos on every subject from fashion to cooking, which evidently she's not very good at.
No, she's cooking her own meniscus.
Yeah. However, nothing could compare to her latest culinary exploit, which evoked something out of the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series. The Barcelona native had reportedly just gotten a knee operation following an injury and opted for a local anesthetic because she wanted to see the procedure in real time on a screen, Jam Press reported. She is a freak.
Yeah, knock me out. Knock me the F out.
Yeah, I don't need to see it that bad, and I'm not going to eat it.
Yep.
Two big rules there. Here's her quote. He used a camera. He operated through 2 holes and it was all up on the screen, she said. He explained everything to me as he operated. Let me tell you something. When I woke up in the middle of my heart surgery and saw it all up on the screen, I said, knock me the fuck out! I don't want to see it! That's what I said. Yeah.
My insides stay inside.
That's right. I don't need to see anymore. No.
If I want to see inside, I'll open up my mouth in front of a mirror.
That's right. Following the procedure, the doctor asked if she wanted to take her meniscus home.
What doctor does that?
One that needs his license taken away. To which GNU agreed.
No.
2 people that need to be put away for good.
Yeah.
I told him yes, and he put what he removed into a small container, probably a Chinese takeout container is my guess.
Yeah.
Like those used for urine samples, said the Spaniard. Oh, so they put it in a urine sample container.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. She added that he placed her macabre memento in alcohol to preserve it like some sort of grisly serial killer trophy. So wait a minute. It got placed in alcohol, so it wasn't meant for consumption.
No. It's meant to be, like, I don't think the doctor thought, oh, she's going to eat this. He's probably like, she's weird.
By the way, here's your Julia Child right here.
Yeah, they did not go to her. They do not follow her for her brains.
No, they don't. They don't ask her for advice on anything.
No.
I doubt she even knows how to put on her shoes in the correct feet.
Well, she doesn't know how to put on a shirt, according to that picture.
Yeah, she knew how to put the jacket on, but she left the shirt off. Fast forward to a week later, and GNU was having a jokey conversation, she says, in quotes, with her boyfriend about how she wanted to eat her removed cartilage because it was part of me, and I had to put it back in my body.
She totally went Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, she did. Lo and behold, she put her bum knee where her mouth is. Oh my God. Then I made a bolognese and put it in, and we ate it. Both of them did.
Wait, we ate it?
Yeah, we ate it. She made her man eat her knee. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, divorce.
Let me ask you this. If you were like to Mrs. Bruiser, honey, I brought home my meniscus. I'm going to make a nice spaghetti bolognese for us. What do you think? What would Mrs. Bruiser say?
She would kick me out. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't let me have the meniscus at home anyways.
That's right. So, while the details of her Ed Gein meets Martha Stewart cooking extravaganza remain unclear, social media balked over the idea of literally having a piece of themselves. Doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah.
At what point, by the way, intern Yoko said a few colorful things while reading this article. She said, if I looked like her, I'd want to eat myself too. She got one of these. At what point did I decide that it was a good idea to watch this over dinner? Said one commentator on YouTube. Wrote another, my stomach hurt. Now it hurts even more. Thank you.
Why are you people watching it?
I don't know. However, some curious epicures wondered about the logistics of whipping up rigatoni. I'm an Italian man near Bologna. How did you put the meniscus in the ragu? Wondered one.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no, just no. Normally, consuming one's own knee might sound more appropriate for one of Thomas Harris's Hannibal books than a romantic candlelight dinner. However, GNU insists that her stunt was not weird, claiming that everyone has eaten the bones, cartilage, and body parts of worse animals. No, we haven't. No.
Somebody needs to reteach this girl how to eat.
By the way, Jesse Ventura used to say that humans taste like long pig. They taste like pork. That's my terrible Jesse impression, but they say we taste like long pig. We taste like pork. No.
Yeah, I'm not eating.
Oh. So, yeah, Bruiser. So when you're recovering, just bring home some of your cartilage and throw it in with your HelloFresh.
I think I'm gonna go with the Papa Bruisers. Take and just eat some raw potatoes.
Raw taters. And maybe just, some nice HelloFresh. The cheesy meatloaf. That'll get you healthy in a hurry.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, that's good. By the way, folks, if you're still looking for some decent deals out there, your buddies here at Darkness Radio have some decent deals for you. If you go to HelloFresh, you put in, I believe it's Darkness 50 right now. You can get 50% off your order and free shipping on your first box. There's that. If you go to manscaped.com and put in Dadville, you get 20% off your order. There's that.
Yep.
And believe it or not, little birdie told me the other day, if you still go over to and get your gummies over at
Microdose.
Yep, over at Microdose. You go microdose.com and use the code darkness at checkout. You get 30% off plus free shipping.
Nice.
Yeah. So take advantage of that as well. So there you go. Bruiser, what you got going on this weekend?
This Friday, I'm actually producing an all-women show. Very excited to do that. And you can watch it on Title Match Network. Or on Sunday, I am wrestling ECW legend C.W. Anderson.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Again, Title Match Network. You can watch the show. It's for AML Wrestling.
There you go. So check it out online, Title Match Network, to see Bruiser and to see the shows that he's involved in. To see everything that Bruiser is doing, either check out the Darkness Radio page, or I know I've been lax in updating it. I apologize for that. Or check out Bruiser on his social media.
Yeah. At BCB Winchester, the Beer City Bruiser, or Beer on Facebook, or Beer City Bruiser on Instagram. Oh, I'm also on Cameo. So if you want a video message from me, just go to cameo.com/Beer City Bruiser, and I will. I try to get them at least a minute long, a little bit longer if you want a little bit longer. I've done everything on there. I've named babies. I've helped senators. I've predicted stuff, and you can request Ziggy to be in it with me. She loves doing that stuff.
There you go. So get a cameo from Bruiser. Also, he trains the best to be the best in professional wrestling. So if you want to be trained by the best, he trains you right over there at the AML AML Training Center. So, get a hold of Bruiser as well.
The class has been growing and it's been great. So come on out. It's a lot of fun and it's good. But the future of wrestling looks good. I have a couple students that are excelling, and I'm a proud papa, I guess you could say.
There you go. Tomorrow on the show, Aaron Dees will show up, and we'll be talking about the West Texas Dogman. So that'll be tomorrow on the show. Lots of good stuff. West Texas Dogman and other cryptids. That's tomorrow on the best in paranormal programming, Darkness Radio. So that'll do it for today.
All right.
For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much, folks, for continuing to tune in and continuing to make your listenership felt. We appreciate it. Again, if you have some positive reviews, review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to the show. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have some other positive things you'd like to say about the show, or you have some suggestions for the show, email me, tim@darknessradio.com. We'd love to hear from you as well. Or guest suggestions. We'd like to hear from you, tim@darknessradio.com. It's nice to throw out names that you'd like to hear on the show, but if you have a contact that you for that guest, we'd like to hear that as well. tim@darknessradio.com. Get a hold of me and let me know who you'd like to hear on Darkness Radio or True Crime Tuesday. It'd be greatly appreciated. For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.